East West Rail has been in the consultation phase for around 5 years now, and during that time, EWR Co, the company responsible for developing plans for the route, have made significant changes to the proposals that were initially put forward. The consultation, which is currently running, will hopefully be the last one, and then EWR Co can move on to the detailed design phase and then eventually construct the new railway. But before East West Rail reaches Cambridge, the route from Oxford to Bedford will have to be upgraded further. This despite the railway from Bicester to Bletchley only having opened 2 years ago. It should be noted, as of recording this video, while the railway is open and being used for freight and driver training, the passenger service between Oxford and Milton Keynes is yet to commence. I provided a detailed overview of the plans for the Marston Vale line between Bletchley and Bedford in a previous EWR video. I'd encourage you to watch that if you haven't already, link in the description. In this video, I want to provide details of route-wide matters on sections which will see further upgrades and will be electrified, albeit using discontinuous electrification. Starting in Oxford, the station is already being upgraded as part of the Oxfordshire Connect programme, which will see the construction of a new through platform and new western entrance. The high-profile project has seen significant setbacks, as the construction of a new bridge over Botley Road is behind schedule. I'll be talking about this in much more detail in an upcoming video, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that. The bridge replacement is a key part of the wider scheme, as an additional span is required over Botley Road for a new section of track leading to the new platform. The platform and concourse will provide much needed capacity, both to increase the number of trains and so that the station can handle the predicted increase in passengers. The station does currently have capacity to accommodate the Oxford to Milton Keynes service, but extra capacity will be required for the additional EWR services in future. It was thought that further interventions would be required in and around Oxford for the proposed services to Bedford and Cambridge. However, Network Rail's plans to reopen the Cowley branch may ease capacity constraints, as services which currently terminate at the station could continue to Cowley. I presume this would free up the bay platforms, which could be used for EWR services. The current proposal will see East West Rail trains terminating at Oxford, although additional future services could potentially head further south and west to Didcot and perhaps beyond. It's anticipated that Oxfordshire Connect and the reopening of the Cowley branch should provide all of the station capacity required for up to 5 EWR trains per hour from Oxford. However, construction of a northbound passing loop constructed to the south of the station is also proposed. This would allow freight trains to wait for available paths through the station. I imagine this would allow east-west services to continue ahead of freight services, rather than passenger trains being held up by freight trains. EWR also wants to construct a stabling area for a small number of trains, so that they can be stabled close to Oxford Station. This would make rostering services easier, particularly the first and last trains of the day. Services heading east will call at Oxford Parkway, Bicester Village, Winslow and Bletchley before heading to either Milton Keynes or further east via the Marston Vale line. Although Oxford Parkway is a relatively new station and Winslow was only completed 2 years ago, further adjustments are proposed as part of the Development Consent Order, or DCO. Oxford Parkway will be improved with the addition of a new multi-storey car park and active travel improvements. Additionally, EWR also wishes to build a new train crew accommodation building next to the station. As with the initial consultation, there are no plans to stop EWR trains at Islip, so there will be no modifications to this station. The only significant intervention, other than electrification, will be the addition of a new passing loop that will be constructed to the northeast of Islip to allow passenger trains to overtake slower services. The route from Oxford to Oxford Parkway will not be electrified. Instead, overhead line equipment, or OLE, will be installed on the section from Oxford Parkway to Bicester Village, although the wires will stretch for a short distance beyond the stations. No further significant alterations have been proposed between Islip and Bicester. Bicester Village station is already served by a half-hourly service between London Marylebone and Oxford. This service will be retained and be further enhanced with up to 5 additional EWR services per hour calling at the station in each direction. The station is well used by residents and visitors to the Bicester Village Designer Outlet, so station capacity should be sufficient and the platforms are already long enough to accommodate the 120 metre long 5-car trains that will be used for East-West Rail services. The station itself will remain largely as it is now, while active travel provision, drop-off facilities, the bus stop and parking provision will be improved. London Road level crossing, which is immediately to the northeast of the station, will be closed and replaced with a bridge. London Road connects the centre of the town to the A41 and A4421. It is therefore a key road, particularly for residents living to the south of Bicester. The road also provides access to the station car park, located to the north of the railway. The level crossing currently closes around 4 times per hour for passenger services, with additional closures for freight. The 2 trains per hour service to Milton Keynes would increase the number of closures to 8 per hour. If East-West Rail is extended further east, a further 2 to 3 trains per hour in each direction could operate between Oxford, Bedford and Cambridge. The crossing may therefore have to close more than 12 times per hour, which EWR Co estimates would mean that the level crossing will be closed for over half an hour in each hour during the day. This, they argue, would lead to unacceptable waiting times, increased congestion, and the potential for increased misuse of the crossing, which would increase risk. One of the main problems is the proximity of the roundabout linking London Road, the A41 and A4421. EWR Co argues that the increased frequency of level crossing closures could lead to traffic backing up onto the roundabout. It is therefore proposed that the level crossing is closed and replaced with an underpass that would only be wide enough for a single vehicle lane, with a maximum height for vehicles of 2.1 metres. As the underpass would only have a single lane, it would have to be traffic light controlled to allow the road to remain open to traffic from both directions. Although it would only be wide enough for 1 vehicle lane, the underpass would also be used to maintain pedestrian access, with the addition of a footpath and protected cycle lane. The low height of the bridge would however mean that buses would have to be rerouted. EWR Co did consider building a larger 2-lane underpass, but they say it would require more land and increase the number of properties that would have to be compulsory purchased. On first inspection, it may appear as though there should be sufficient room for a larger structure, but having visited the site for myself, I now better understand how constrained the site actually is. Despite the structure being relatively modest, the challenges of building the bridge while trying to reduce disruption to the railway and residents should not be underestimated. A new overbridge to the north or south was also considered, but the new road would have a significant impact on properties, while offering no overall journey benefits when compared to existing routes such as the A41 and A4421. I'm not saying that I wholeheartedly support the current proposal, but it is a compromise that retains connectivity for cyclists, pedestrians and local traffic. The reduced height and traffic light control could mean that it would almost exclusively be used for local traffic rather than through traffic. The new revised scheme has been welcomed by local stakeholders, but is subject to third-party funding and will not be wholly funded directly by East-West Rail. An additional video looking at the section from Bicester to Bletchley is also now live, link in the description. Just before I go, could I ask that if you found this video informative, that you please give it a like, as it helps my content to get noticed.